Hello there, thank you very much for joining me. Today's lesson is about introduction, how to introduce yourselves to others, how to get introduced by others, and how to get introduction from others. So, what can be potential points? First, the first element is when you meet someone, when you come across someone, you must say greetings. Greetings, this means hello, hi, such words. And the second step, when somebody doesn't know who you are, you tell about yourself. Name. You tell your name, full name or partial name, and then you tell about your family. You tell about what you do. You tell about your education. You tell about your profession or study if you are a student. So these are the basic things in any introduction. However, we cannot tell all of them to everyone, because if you meet someone who you haven't met before, you only tell about yourself and ask from others. If you are in an interview, you may tell all of these things. If you are in a classroom or in an office and give presentation, you talk about yourself very briefly, and then you give information about your experience and about your projects or about your presentation. So let's move on these one by one. First one is, whenever you meet someone, say hello, and then my name is, and then you tell my education is, and then you tell about I live in, you tell about your country or your city, wherever you live, and then you ask similar question to the other person. What's your name? What do you do? What's your education? Where do you live? Or if someone is a professional, does a job in an office, then you ask, what's your job? Or business, if he or she is a businessman or woman. Your family is with you, अगर आप family के बारे में पूछना चाहते हैं, or you can say, what about your family? So these are the normal questions when you meet someone who you haven't come across before. So the first thing is you ask the name of the person. What's your name? And the person can say, my name is such and such. And then what do you do? If the person is a student, he will say or she will say that she or he is a student, or he is a businessman, or he does job, or he's a professional working in an office. And then what's your education? And the person might tell you about education, that I have an MA degree, I have bachelor's, whatever the qualification is. Where do you live? And then you tell, I live in city, जो भी आपका city का name है. And then you ask about the job or business or any job designation जिस पे वो job कर रहे होते हैं, position पे, उसके बारे में बात करते हैं. And you tell that I'm a manager, I'm a worker, I'm a teacher, I'm a student, whatever designation you have. And then you may ask about the family, if the person gets familiar and doesn't angry, because normally this question is asked from the interviewers. If you go for a job or in an organization, or if someone knows you well, then you can ask about what about your family, and then you can, if somebody asks you this question, then you can tell that I have two brothers, one sister, or you can say we are four siblings. Siblings means brother and sister all together. And then you can tell about your family that my father is, then you can name the profession. My father is a teacher or businessman or whatever the profession he has. And then you can tell about similarly about your mother. My mother is such and such. So these are the normal questions that we come across in our daily life. Now, if somebody asks us in an interview, in a school, in an office, introduce yourself, then how we can introduce? Let's see. It's very simple. First of all, we will greet them. We will enter into the room and say hello. And after sitting, after greetings, when they ask you introduce yourself, you will tell about yourself. My name is, whatever your name is, and then tell about yourself, what you do, education or professional. I am a student, or I am a teacher. Whatever word you want to use it. And then you can say, you can tell about yourself, about your hobbies. My hobbies, whatever your hobbies, playing cricket, playing chess, or collecting stamps, whatever it is. And then if they ask you, what's your purpose? यानी आपका मकसद क्या है यहाँ आने का? अगर को आप जॉब इंटरव्यू के लिए हैं, obviously you will mention it. I tend to join your organization as जो भी आपने लगाना हो, टीचर है या म्यूजिशियन है, whatever it is, उसके हिसाब से आप बता सकते हैं. And then you can tell about your experience. I have ample experience. You also can use enough. You also can use good. I have ample experience, I have enough experience, I have good experience in this job role. And job role, you can say profession, whatever word you want to use it. So this is how you introduce yourself, you tell about yourself, and then ask from others as well. Now there are different things. Whenever you try to say something, they may ask you different questions. For example, they may ask you about the parts of your name. जो आपके नाम के हिस्से होते हैं. So in this way, you must know that for name, this is also called given name. And then surname. This is called family name. And what is the difference between them? Full name is considered the name that is given to you by your family. For instance, my name is Muhammad Fahim. So if this is my name, Muhammad Fahim, this means Muhammad is my forename or names. If I have three names, such and such, Muhammad Abdullah Fahim or Steve Atkinson, there can be different names. So forename, Muhammad will be forename or given name that was given to you or that has been given to me by my family. This is my name. And the last part, Fahim, it represents the surname. Surname is actually family name. Normally, we people have surname like in subcontinent in the beginning of our given name. For example, Rana, Mia, Chaudhry, whatever they. However, in English, like the name is Roy Atkinson, Atkinson, Claire, Clare, Claire Sangster, Sangster. Roy is a male name that is a given name. Atkinson is actually family name that is surname. So English people have their surname in the end, and they have a complete series of this surname that consist of years and years and 100 years, you can say. Similarly, Claire is a female name and it's a given name to a lady or a girl. And Sangster is actually family name. That is the basic point to understand. If you check your passport, whenever you travel, you get a passport from the aviation authority, from the government authorities. In your passport, there will be surname, and there will be four names or your name or given name. So they actually recognize you by your surname and your date of birth. So normally, if you go for interview, they ask you, tell us about your surnames, and this does not mean that you need to tell whole of your name. No, you need to tell about your surname first, which is the last part of your name, and then you can say that this is my forename, whatever you tell them. For example, if I say my name is Muhammad Abdullah Fahim, this means Muhammad Abdullah is actually my forenames, Fahim is my surname. Similarly, if a person has more than one name, for instance, Steve Job Atkinson, this is surname, this is forename, this is also forename, but Job is also name, you can say it's a middle name. So don't be confused if someone asks you what's your middle name. If you have a middle name, if you have three parts of a name, you can say I have a middle name, and then you can tell. If you do not have the middle name, obviously you simply can say I do not have middle name. My full name is Muhammad Fahim. This means Muhammad is my forename or given name, and Fahim is my surname. So this is a very brief introduction. Now we move towards some of the vocabulary words that are concerned with this very lesson: how to introduce yourself, how to be introduced by others, and how to get introduction from others. For example, for greetings, you can use hello, very common, we all know. Hi, hiya, hey. So these are the words that we normally use for greetings. And then surname, this is actually family name, four names. And then if you are a student, you tell about your education, qualification, study level. You can use any of these words to mention your education, to highlight your education career. And then siblings, siblings, both, brother and sister. Instead of using I have two brothers, I have one brother, one sister, you simply can say we are two siblings. Or I have two siblings. मेरे दो बहन भाई हैं. Similarly, parents, it's about your father and mother. And then if you do a job, you can use multiple words like job, profession, career. These are some of the words that you can use to mention, to indicate your profession. And then if you have hobby, you can say hobby, interest, or you also can use I like. जो भी आप लाइक करते हैं, वट एवर इज योर लाइकिंग, आप उसको बयान कर सकते हैं. Similarly, if you have experience in any profession, you can say experience. I am veteran, VATERN, यानी मैं बड़ा आशना हूँ इस चीज से, इस प्रोफेशन से. आई हैव अ डीप नॉलेज. तो ये आप वेटरन का वर्ड यूज कर सकते हैं एज एन ऑल्टरनेट फॉर एक्सपीरियंस. Similarly, you also tell about your place. This means residence. This means place you live. You live in or at. इसका मतलब है city name, country name, whatever you want to mention. And similarly, you also can, if you are meeting a foreigner, if you have come across with any foreigner, you can also tell about your nationality. If you are from Pakistan, obviously you are Pakistani. So this is how you tell about yourself. Now, the gist of this lesson is, if somebody asks me about myself, either he or she is meeting with me for the first time, or if I am interviewed by someone, then I need to be very calm. The first thing is to be calm. पुरसकून जिसे आप कहते हैं. Calm or compose. You also can use the word compose. यानी अपने आप को नॉर्मल रखना, और फिर आप अपने बारे में बताते हैं. Let's practice. For example, somebody asks me and I have to say all these things in one go in an interview. How would I say? Let's see. Hi. Morning. अगर सुबह का वक्त हो तो morning, दोपहर का बाद हो तो good afternoon and the evening. Hello. Morning. My name is Mohammed Fahim. I'm from, जो भी आपका सिटी है उसके बारे में बताएंगे. My education qualification is MPhil MA from Sunderland University, United Kingdom. I'm a teacher and I have 20 years experience of teaching to students in universities and in colleges and private institutions. I've applied for this job and my intention is to join your organization to contribute to the well-being of students. Similarly, अगर आप किसी दूसरे प्रोफेशन में हैं, you can tell about your profession. For example, I have served as customer care administrator in a multinational organization and I have 15 years of experience and a proven track record wherever I did my job. I believe that I can be a good asset of your organization as I'll be investing my skills and experience to improve HR work in your organization. And now if you have to tell about your family, then you can say, I have 2 siblings, they are students, and I was a student until recent time as I do not have any job experience, but this does not disqualify me for applying this very job because that's my intention to learn something from your organization to step on the professional ladder. My parents both are working in corporate sector. My father is a bank manager and my mother, she is a teacher. This is my brief introduction. I hope this introduction lesson would help you to introduce yourself to others. Thank you for joining. Thank you.